Good morning. Good morning. This is Charles Coachman, and this is Coachman on Real Estate. Today we have no guest, but I have a very important topic that I wanted to discuss, and it was brought right to me by the news. We had a couple of fires a couple of weeks ago, and it was the first time that it had been cold at all. And there were a couple of chimney fires. And I just said, you know what? I've got to talk to a couple of chimney sweeps about this. And they are so busy right now that I can't get anybody to go live with me at this point. So I want to discuss that and the importance of that. But first off, I want to give a couple of shout outs. Got a couple of birthdays. Anna Maria Valenzuela. Hey, happy birthday, Anna Maria. Just one of the sweetest persons I know. She is a realtor here in South Bay, in Silicon Valley, and just one heck of a nice person. The other one is Nancy Williams, an old friend of mine from back in high school. And I just want to wish you a very happy birthday. 40 years is a long time not to see somebody, but hey, time flies. Anyway, if your birthday was not mentioned, I am sorry, but happy birthday to you, and then happy Thanksgiving to everybody as we're approaching Thanksgiving in only 2 days. So I am very, very thankful for that day, and we're nearing the end of 2020, so we're hoping things will get back online. So happy birthday to you both, and to whoever else birthday it is out there. Enjoy it. Now, we are broadcasting on StreamYard. If you'd like to make a comment, I'd welcome you to make a comment. But first, go ahead and go to StreamYard.com/Facebook and give them the permission to go ahead and use your name and photos so that we can see if you've got comments that you'd like to make. And if you'd like to get a hold of me at all, go ahead and reach me at Coachman, ONRE @gmail.com, and we'd be glad to talk with you. We'd certainly like to answer any questions that you have about real estate, and we would be glad to. And again, the show is called Coachman on Real Estate, and we are coming live every Tuesday at 9 a.m. And so you can find us here at 9 a.m. and we'd love to be able to talk with you about that. And let's get going on our topic. So again, I was going to mention that we are talking about chimneys and the importance of getting your chimneys done. I am very saddened to see and hear that, a couple of people lost their homes, or lost their homes for a while their homes are being redone from the chimney fires that had. Luckily, these fires, no one died from them, but an average of 7 people a day die from chimney fires. And that is just one of the worst things that I could ever imagine. So let's take the time to talk about that. So again, protect your family and get your chimney cleaned. That is one of the biggest things, and it's something that here in California we don't think about an awful lot, but it's important. If you are burning your fireplace during the winter or even during the summer, you need to have it inspected. If you're using it quite often, you need to have it inspected at least once a year. And we're going to go over it. I've got 10 points that I wanted to cover, and I've got an awful lot of sheets that I'm going to be scanning through and talking about. I think I've got like 15 or 16 sheets that I was getting my notes from. So I want to make sure that we covered those. First thing to know, when a house fire comes, you have as little as 2 minutes to escape from a house fire. And you need to be able to get out and just get everything that you need to grab. Everyone should pop out and know where you're going to meet. So we need to have a plan for those, and I will be covering that a little bit further. But we need to make sure that you understand when a house fire does start, if it gets out of control, you have 2 minutes to get out. And that's important. So we'll discuss that more. As I had mentioned before, each day, 7 people lose their lives. And that's one of the saddest things to do it. So what I was talking about is that these are things that are preventable. These cleaning your chimney is one of those things that you can take the time once a year to go ahead and have it swept out and make sure that it's cleaned properly, and you won't have to have a chimney fire. Each year there's over 50,000 homes that are lost, anywhere from 50 to 60,000 homes that are lost due to fire. And a good 1/3 of those, maybe even more, are because of chimney fires and fires from the fireplace. So we need to understand that. We need to make sure that our house is set up so that we can handle such things. Number 3, make sure that you have a plan for escaping a house fire in place. So you want to make sure if it's just you know where you want to go. If there's children involved, you want to make sure that they know how to get out of their rooms and get out to meet you in a safe place. Now, whether it's opening windows or if it's heading towards a back door or to a front door, we want to make sure that they know exactly what to do. And so you have to prepare for a worst case scenario. Being a homeowner or renting a home or whatever your case is, you have to make sure that you've got a plan in place in case of a fire. Know exactly where you're going to meet and know exactly how you're going to get out of your home. And you've got to be able to do that. And especially with young kids. Now, one of the things that they also talk about is learning to make sure if you are caught in a fire that you want to stay low. So you want to teach them what they need to do as far as crawling and rolling and making sure that you're able to avoid the smoke. So make plans, make sure that you know exactly what you need to do. This is probably one of the biggest things that you can do, is make sure that you've got a plan in place. Now, if you have got handicapped people living in your home, then you know that you need to make sure that they are taken care of first. You make sure that you're safe, and then you grab them to make sure that they're able to get out. I mean, every year we hear about it. The person was stuck in their bed. They couldn't get out. But we need to have a plan in place for that. Now, in California, we have laws, and I don't know laws throughout the rest of the U.S., but in California, we have laws that you have to have smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors in your house. The smoke detectors are pretty obvious. The carbon monoxide detectors in the house, sometimes that's not as obvious. But your fireplaces release carbon monoxide. So we have to be sure that we've got carbon monoxide detectors in the house. The smoke detectors, again, those are pretty obvious. You want to get those hung up. When you are building a home or when you are remodeling, at this point, you need to make sure that you have a smoke detector in your entryway. You want to make sure that you have one in each of your bedrooms, If you've got rooms that are upstairs, you need to make sure that you have those upstairs. Carbon monoxide detectors, you want to make sure that you're aware of. Those can be put lower, and I believe I've got something else that we'll talk about that. But you want to make sure that you have detectors, and make sure that you are checking them at least twice a year, whether you're going to do it when the times change, and that, I think I've mentioned that later on. But we want to make sure that those are checked. Now, the ones that I have got have 10-year batteries, if I'm not mistaken. And just thinking about it, 5 years is up. So we get every once in a while, we'll have one of them go off, and it's from steam coming from the shower or something. But we want to make sure that you are taking care of that. The next thing that I believe that we need to cover is have fire extinguishers in your home. We want to make sure that that is taken care of. Having a fire extinguisher in your kitchen, garage, and if you happen to have a basement, you want to make sure. And you want to make sure that you know how to use them. So one of the things that they've told us is to remember P.A.S.S, and that is pull the pin, aim the nozzle, squeeze the handle, and sweep from side to side. Sweep from side to side so that you're making sure that you cover everything. Now, there are different fires and different extinguishers for such fires, whether it's a grease fire, whether it's an electrical fire. We want to make sure that we are using the proper fire extinguisher for those, and those you can find and they are well marked. But remember that you want to have fire extinguishers inside your house. And that's a great reminder, because, hey, I'm one of the people that doesn't have one. So then the next few days, there's going to be a couple of fire extinguishers coming into the house to make sure that we are safe and in good shape. So that's a great reminder, and I think that everyone should be paying attention to that. Check or change your batteries a couple times per year. So you can do that during the fall, and you can do it during the time wherever you're making sure that you test your batteries, make sure that they're still working. You can do them in the fall and the spring, but whatever and whichever decision you decide to make sure that you are doing that, because it can prevent a lot of problems, and we want to make sure that everything is good there. Now, here's a big one, and I don't know how much people do not think about it, but I want to make sure that we do. We have to understand that carbon monoxide is heavier than air, so installing them low is preferred. And so there are ones that you can plug into your outlets and make sure that those are working. So you've got plug-in models. They'll be at the right height because carbon monoxide stays low. We want to make sure that you're covering that. Also, make sure that children know what detectors sound like and what they mean. So if a fire alarm goes off or a smoke alarm goes off or a carbon monoxide detector, make sure that your children know exactly what's going on. Make sure that they understand. If you have a smoke alarm or a carbon monoxide detector in their home and their bedrooms, make sure that they understand exactly what they need to do. As we touched on earlier, you want to make sure that they understand their plan and they understand exactly what the detectors sound like and what they should be ready to do at that time. One of the things that we need to talk about is carbon monoxide. It is an odorless, colorless gas and is deadly in large concentrations. So if you have a carbon monoxide leak and you are unaware of it, you need to have those carbon monoxide detectors in there. They are so important to taking care of your home and taking care of your life, because this can be a matter of life and death, because the gas can actually lead to death. And it is a big factor. And this was, for my wife, there was something really, really personal about it, that one of her uncles had lit a fire in his fireplace, and his chimney was, unknowing to him, was blocked. And although the smoke was able to come out, the carbon monoxide that was building up flooded their home, and he passed away. So it is extremely important to make sure that you have those carbon monoxide detectors in place. I used to kind of think it was just really for the garage and make sure that one was above the garage door. Well, now I know, you know what, it needs to be low. So yes, you do want to have one out by the garage, but you also want to have them where they can detect wherever, whether you have a furnace or whether you have a fireplace. You want to make sure that those are taken care of, and that you have a detector that will let you know if you are getting carbon monoxide released. That is extremely important. So one of the ways that you can stop that while you are building your fire is to make sure that your fireplace is clear, that there are no obstructions. And so that's one of the things that we're doing, and that I'm doing, is I want to make sure that everyone gets their chimney swept, gets their chimneys inspected. We want to make sure that we do about it. There's a lot of information about this online, but it's very, very important that we take care of that. We've got to learn exactly what the fires, when we're burning fires, exactly what it does and what builds up in our chimney. What are the chimney sweeps actually doing? Well, they may be saving your life. We've got to understand that there is a science behind all of this, and that we have to make sure that we're following and understanding what science is telling us about this. Is your fireplace telling you something? Are smells coming from your fireplace? Is there something that's building up in there? You have to be aware of that. One of the other things that I would tell you is, if you were using a wood burning fireplace, that you use wood that's seasoned. Why would you use wood that's seasoned? Well, wood that's seasoned has been dried out. So it probably is made up of maybe 10 to 20% moisture, but fresh green wood is about 80% moisture. And we want to make sure that you're not burning green wood in your home, and make sure that you are, the people that are selling you the wood, know that it's seasoned wood. You just want to be able to burn wood that's had at least a year to dry out, and you want to make sure that that's done. There's a lot of things that you can find out from a chimney inspection. I want to talk more about that. But a chimney inspection, they go through and they find out if your fireplace is actually in good shape. Do you have broken tiles in there? Is there something the matter with your flue? Is there something the matter is it obstructed in any way? We want to make sure that we're aware of that. So you want to make sure that you schedule an inspection. You want to make sure that you do that. If you're not burning your fireplace more than a couple times a year, you still want to have it inspected. If you haven't used your fireplace in a long time, you want to have it inspected. I'm not trying to create business for chimney sweeps, but it is important. It is important. Whether you are burning gas or whether you are burning wood, you want to make sure that your fireplace is inspected. Now, like in almost everything, chimney sweeps are using cameras. They can get in there and they can detect everything with the camera. But there are a lot of things that you need to do to hire the correct person. So I want to make sure that we cover that. Get your chimneys cleaned by a certified chimney cleaner. There's a couple. Understand that anybody can put a top hat on and come to your door with some tools to clean your fireplace. Anybody can do it because there are no special licensing for it. So you want to check and find out if the people that you are hiring are certified to do it. Ask them, do you have any certifications? And there's a couple that are around, and there is it's called the CSIA certification, the Chimney Safety Institute of America. And then there is FIRE, and that is, and I want to make sure that I've got that right, the National Fireplace Institute. We want to make sure that we have that. And I want to make sure that I've covered that. The FIRE certification is a program advanced, the most advanced education within the hearth industry. So you want to make sure that you are using the proper people. Certified fireplace and chimney inspectors. You want to make sure that you're doing that. You want to ask the person that you're hiring, how long have you been in business? Can you give me references? Take a look on Yelp and see if they've got references. I've seen some that have 100. I've seen some that have 2 or 3, because not everyone uses Yelp. So we need to check those and ask them if they've got up-to-date references. Do you have any unresolved complaints? But be upfront. This is your home and this could be your life. Do you carry valid business insurance? If they should damage anything, you want to make sure that you're covered. And you can ask them for a copy of their permit and a copy of their insurance. And make sure, again, like I said, make sure that they are certified. So the Chimney Safety Institute of America and the Fireplace Investigation, Research, and Education. So that was the CSIA and the Fireplace Investigation, Research, and Education. That is FIRE. We want to make sure that those are covered. And you want to make sure that any person that you hire gets those things done and has those certifications. So, chimney sweep, they come in, they sweep out your chimney. They go through, they take a good look at your chimney, whether they're using just their eyesight or whether they're also sending in a camera to make sure that obstructions are cleared. One of the biggest things that they're going to be looking for is creosote. That's the particles of the wood that builds up on the insides. And you want to make sure that that is cleaned out, because creosote is a big cause of chimney fires. If it gets built up, we want to make sure that that gets cleared. If you are burning a lot of wood, you need to make sure that that chimney is being swept out annually. So every year. The draft, you want to make sure that your draft is properly working. Now, understanding, unless you are using a wood burning stove or unless you are using a fireplace insert, that the energy that we're burning with wood and that trying to heat our house with, it's only about 10% effective. So know that when you are burning a fire in a fireplace at your home and you're not using some type of stove or some type of insert, know that you are losing almost every bit of that energy. It's a pretty sight to see those flames and everybody loves it, but it's not energy efficient. And that we need to know, and that we have to understand that. So you can change it with an insert. You can go up to about 80 to 85% efficiency where your home is actually being heated from it, or at least the area where the fireplace is being heated from it. That can be done. So we want to make sure that you do an annual checkup and you make sure that your home is set. When you're getting ready to sell your home, a fireplace inspection is also a good thing to have done. And if you are the buyer, whether you are the seller or if you are the buyer, if it hasn't been done, it's a good thing for a buyer to have it checked out too. When you are changing, let's say that you're changing from wood burning to gas, and I did that a few years ago. We want to make sure that that's all taken care of and that is handled properly. So you want to keep your chimney clean. You want to make sure that you are getting proper use of your air by making sure that your drafting system has worked. You want to make sure that your dampers are working properly. And if you are using it to try and heat your home and not just doing it for the feeling of having a fire, make sure that you realize that it's only 10% efficient. If you really want to move up that efficiency, you need to get a fire insert, a fireplace insert, or switch it to gas. Now in California, we know that we are in homes now, in a lot of the areas, we are cutting off the use of gas. They're not gonna allow us to use it. So if you're gonna be able to get a fireplace, and if you want a fireplace in your home, you want to make sure that you're going the most efficient route possible. Now, burning wood can be efficient, but only if you're using the proper equipment. So you want to make sure that you are doing everything that you can. You can sweep out your own chimney, but know that you can cause some damage. So you want to make sure, again, I would suggest hiring out to make sure that you've got the best cleaning that you can possibly get. It's important. And again, make sure that you understand about creosote and how that can be built up. Now there are, and I had it here, there are creosote logs that you can use, and those will help destroy the creosote. They'll help turn them into ash, but you still need to clean your chimney after that. So again, if you do that, you've got to make sure that you still get your chimney clean. Hey, that's a great first step, but it's also releasing a lot of chemicals and such that make up that wood. So you want to make sure that that's done. One of the other things that I want to touch on before we close it up is to make sure that you have a chimney cap. In California, it's required, or in Santa Clara County, it's required. You want to make sure that you have a functioning chimney cap. That will save you from having pests and rats and birds nest inside your fireplace. You want to make sure that that's taken care of. That will also help keep the rain out. prevents obstructions, as I mentioned, and it guards against fires on your roof. Should you still have wood shingles, but you still have wood all around your roof that's supporting it. So you want to make sure that you're doing that. Now, you can switch from wood to gas, and that's what we did. We switched it out, but you want to make sure that everything that you're doing is efficient, and you want to make sure that you have that inspected at least annually when you're using gas. So you make sure that there's nothing that's being cut or nothing that you're losing gas through that can also cause a big fire. We want to make sure that we do that. And yes, your gas fireplace also needs to have it inspected. You want to make sure that your flue is clear. You want to make sure that you have no blockages within your chimney and that everything is working properly. This is a very important subject. I wish I could have gotten a chimney sweep in here, but everyone is busy right now. But I wanted to bring this because most house fires, although they don't start normally in the fireplace, it is one place where it can. And having a chimney cleaned is probably one of the cheapest things that you can do to keep your house in good shape, because you want to make sure that you're not endangering yourself or your family or your friends when you are doing this. Check out, we got one quick comment here. Hey, Jamie, thank you for checking in. We want to make sure that you are doing the proper thing. So get your chimneys cleaned by a certified chimney cleaner. Do it. And now we've got the holidays are right on top of us. We want to make sure that that is done. We want to make sure that you are doing the best for yourself and your family. So thank you for listening. Thank you for taking time to be with us today. And we certainly appreciate it. And we certainly appreciate your time. I hope to see you next week, next Tuesday at 9 a.m. as we continue to speak on real estate. So again, this is Charles Coachman, and this is Coachman on Real Estate. I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. Have a safe holiday, and we look forward to seeing you again next week. Goodbye.